Twitter Files 16 from Matt Taibbi reveal more collusion between the government and the media as they never stop working to censor us and control the narratives. We're going to go through them. We're also going to take a look at Undead Fuga, which is another good Twitter follow. Of course, Matt Taibbi was the individual who dropped Twitter Files 16. We've covered all of the prior Twitter files up until this point. So if you haven't seen those are available on this channel. But Taibbi calls this one Twitter Files 16 Comic Interlude, a media experiment. And we see here somebody who is highly involved in the saga. Here's what Matt writes. The Twitter files have revealed a lot. Thousands of moderation requests from every corner of the government. Feds mistaking both conservatives and leftists for fictional Russians. Even Twitter deciding on paper to cede moderation authority to the U.S. intelligence community. Yeah, all Americans were insurrectionists. We were all wrecking our democracy. All Russian assets, and so on. Here are a couple examples. This was a clipping from Taibbi, says that internal guidance from Twitter showed that any user, quote, identified by the U.S. intelligence community as a state-sponsored entity conducting cyber operations against targets shall not be allowed to advertise on Twitter. Isn't that fun? So it's not that Twitter gets to make those decisions anymore about whether somebody is a good advertiser or not, a safe advertiser or not. It's really about whatever the U.S. intelligence agencies say, because they're in charge. They run Twitter. Another example. This came out from Yoel Roth. Says on January 23rd, 2018, Yoel sent an email over to Emily. Says, unlike hashtag release the memo, this one is being driven by data from Hamilton 68. I'll do another sweep for spam. But as of yesterday, this looked like a right-leaning hashtag about the shutdown, which only got the label of Russia because Hamilton. How can we push publicly back against Hamilton? I don't think there's anything too noteworthy about this beyond that. Hamilton 68 was a fake think tank that was trying to create a fake Russian hoax narrative. Here was another email. Hi, folks. I suspended 12 counts of AR origin, 10 counts of VE origin that were tweeting about Ukraine and Nazis and were clustered by IPs. After reviewing these accounts, we're recommending to request an ID. We found evidence that suggests it is linked to individuals in the Pirate Party and others on the left of the political spectrum. So doesn't sound like it's Russian right-wingers. It's left-wingers from the Pirate Party in Catalonia. All right. So that's not what they told us throughout many of the news cycles that we had to endure. So Matt continues, he says, that's been the summation of a lot of these things. U.S. government officials who are not supposed to censor Americans because we have the First Amendment, censoring Americans because they don't care about the First Amendment. Got it. So the next tweet from Matt says, these and at least a dozen other newsworthy revelations produced exactly zilch in mainstream news coverage in the last 2 months because our media is the worst. Then House hearings were held last week, and we covered those at length, at which one witness told a story about Donald Trump asking to remove a mean tweet by Chrissy Teigen. The press went bananas. And you see here TMZ says, oh my gosh, who is this woman? I can't even read that. I don't even know what it says. Trump White House asked Twitter to take down Chrissy Teigen's mean tweet is another headline. Chrissy Teigen reacts in disbelief after her anti-Trump tweet is read in Congress. Donald Trump asked Twitter to take down a Chrissy Teigen tweet. You see how excited they are about that? Which is wrong also, by the way. Trump shouldn't have asked anybody to take down any stupid tweets. It's ridiculous. Trump should do it. Nobody should do it. But there wasn't all the headlines when Adam Schiff Pencilneck was censoring his own constituents in America. Matt Taibbi says, purely to show the bankruptcy of the media in this area, which we like to indulge in, let's introduce a pair of loud new data points and see if any press figures at all cover either of them. So shout out to the loser journos in the media. Matt Taibbi's calling you out. If you don't cover this, you're even bigger of a loser journo. If a president freaking out about one tweeter is news, right? Because if they're saying, oh, Trump and Teigen, Surely a U.S. senator thinking on 300 plus of his own constituents must be. They'll cover that, right? Here's an email from Kevin Kane, a suspicious account from Senator Angus King. I spoke with campaign director for Angus King this morning, who provided a very large list of 354 suspicious Twitter accounts that they have identified. So one senator is saying, please get rid of my critics. Please silence their Twitter accounts. They're causing me ruckus. 354. Another one is Maine Senator Angus King. He wrote to Twitter to call a slew of accounts suspicious. Here are some of the reasons that they were suspicious. Rand Paul visit is excitement. Somebody's excited that Rand Paul's coming. Probably a terrorist. Probably got to get him off Twitter. Also upset. Followed by breaky, which means illegal. Bot averages 20 tweets a day. Wow, if you tweet 20 times a day, that's a bot. You should be removed. Mentions immigration, also illegal if you're following Senator Angus King. King's office declined to comment, losers. If Dick Nixon sniffed glue, this is what his enemies list might have looked like. And it looks like they're giving us an actual Google sheet. Maybe we can see who's on the list. In fact, we can. Look at this right here. Here's the list. Here's what your senators are creating. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is coming from a senator's office. Oh, man. Are you serious? This is a senator's hit list in an Excel file that they sent over for removal. Oh my goodness. Sent to Facebook and Facebook response. So this one's going to Facebook. Oh, but look, they're doing it to Facebook, removed, pending. So they are, holy moly. This is the Twitter account. Okay, so this is the next tab over. These are all the people on Twitter. All of these people. Treason Summit. Why flagged? Scott Dworkin. Treason Summit. Anti-King. Look at this. Suspected bot, self-proclaimed bot, jab at Maine Dads, 720, anti-King, possible troll, but occasionally expressive positive sentiment about ask. All these people are bots, QAnoners, followed by Ringlestein, followed by Breaky, whoever that is. Breaky retweet. This is an enemies list from a U.S. senator's office. A public enemies list on Twitter. Amazing. Now, you have to understand that they do this stuff, you know, that they're sort of, this is like competitive monitoring. It's monitoring your competitors and keeping tabs of these people. But these are also, I would presume, many of these people are American citizens. You know, the government can't do this. If you're a private political consultant, yeah, I think you could probably do this and get away with it. All right, who do we have to, you know, respond to and neutralize out there? This is a senator's office. Asks, look at all these people. Look at all these names. I am shocked about this. I can't even believe this is coming from a government official. All the Facebook accounts, all the Facebook groups, all the names. Unbelievable. Wow. All right. So back over to Matt Taibbi. He says, and that is, yeah, if Dick Nixon sniffed glue, this is what his enemies list might have looked like. Absolutely unbelievable. So as to not only focus on Democrats or those who caucus with Democrats, here's another contribution from a Republican, Mark Lindsey, a State Department official most famous for offering to donate his brain to science after a claimed brush with the Havana syndrome. U.S. diplomat Mark Lindsey, mysterious injury while stationed in China, says, I'm going to donate my brain to science. I probably can keep it, Mark. That's okay. Lindsey wrote to Twitter, bluntly asking to remove 14 accounts, distinguished among other things by skepticism of Russiagate. If you don't agree with the fake Russiagate story, you've got to get your Twitter account deleted. The below are some Russian-controlled accounts that I think you will want to look into to delete. Okay? Holy crap. This is from this loser, Mark Lindsey. He's sending an email from a state.gov address, okay? State.gov. That's like sending, you know, you send stuff that you want to have some impact from that email address. It might as well be like from the office of the president, okay, from the U.S. federal government. And at the bottom, it says sensitive but unclassified. And so this is literally Mark Lindsey from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. He sends a letter to Lisa Roman at twitter.com. He says, "Hi, Lisa. Nice to be in touch with you. I'm an American Foreign Service officer that works at the State Department, and I've been working on Russia issues for more than 2 decades. Doing a little credibility drop there. Lisa's like, okay. I speak Russian and know the country and its disinformation efforts very well. Okay, that's great, Mark. Nice job. Significantly and somewhat rare at the State Department, he says, I'm a lifelong Republican that has worked for the RNC, so in my work, I've been able to identify a lot of Russian-controlled Twitter accounts that have made it through some of your previous purges. A significant number of these Russian-controlled fake accounts try to pose as Republicans. But when I get into them, I can see obvious mistakes, including grammar, that don't make any sense if you were really a Republican. Also, I don't know any Republicans I've worked with on campaigns here in the U.S. that are obsessed with Ukraine, and many of the accounts that are the followers below are posting obscure court rulings about Ukraine, postings about Ukrainian politicians that the real Republicans couldn't care less about. I also noticed distinct increases in their tweeting around the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary. And this email is back in April 14, 2020, so this isn't like recent Ukraine stuff. Because of the sensitive nature of my work, he says, I would ask that in your discussion... No, the below are some Russian government-controlled accounts that I think you will want to look into and delete. Many of the followers of these accounts are Russian-controlled disinformation accounts as well, and I can provide many more of these Russian-controlled Twitter accounts to you in the coming weeks. Now, because of the sensitive nature of my work, I would ask that your discussions with others, you not mention my name, or if you forward the below, that you take out my name. This is like, illegal government peddling. Like, what's he trying to do? Hide this? I would be happy to discuss with you in more detail on the phone if you would like, and we could set up a call to speak this week if you would want. Thank and best regards, Mark. Now look at all these names, okay? So he's got Bravo, Thunderstruck. He's got Spicy Noodles is here. Russia, Hack, and so on. Now we're going to pause on this real quickly because there was also a very interesting post from Undead Fuga. And Undead Fuga is an individual that you can follow over on Twitter at undeadfuga.com. And he is referencing exactly what was in that list of names, that email we just read through with all of those names. Here's what he says about that. He says, tonight, Matt Taibbi posted an email that scares me, quite honestly, right? And Foya's been on Twitter for a long time. Shout out to Undead Fuga. I've had a couple of Twitter accounts banned with no explanation, and I've suspected that I will show up in the Twitter files, but instead, some of my friends did, right? Everybody on that list. He says, I personally know 15 pounds to go. That is a Foya fan who played a crucial role in teaching me about Foya. He's extremely kind and generous American. He never posted anything even remotely pro-Russian. But here we see an official State Department asking Twitter to destroy his account. Likewise, I know Gooserfer to Hendry and I know Spicy Noodles. They're established members of the corner I speak to often. They're Americans, not Russians. These are absolutely real people in a real account. I do not speak to Thunderstruck, but I know his account. Never seen anything pro-Russian. Russia Hack Site, another account I'm familiar with. I don't follow that account, but this is quite shocking to me. I can say that 3 to 4 of these accounts were probably only flagged because they tweeted or retweeted items on Russiagate. That's it. This so-called Russia expert says this without a shred of evidence. This is information warfare and nothing less. They didn't like what these accounts said, so they made up reasons to have them destroyed, which of course is accurate and true. And so it's amazing, right, that there was that type of understanding that you could just send an email to Twitter and they would take action. And so we're going to go right back to the Twitter files. We have some more from Matt Taibbi. But before we continue, let's remember to get ultra energized and healthy by supporting our friends over at Field of Greens, supporting ourselves by going to fieldofgreens.com and getting your super greens, superfood, and saving $15 by using promo code Robert. Because as we know, it'd be very nice to lose some of those leftover pandemic pounds, but we've all seen the fad diets. We've all seen the ads. They don't work, but we know what does. Eating healthy servings of fruits and vegetables every day. You do that, you imagine the weight probably falls right off. But vegetables, who's got time? And fruits, it's a lot of work. Instead, let's talk about Field of Greens. You can go to fieldofgreens.com right now and get a science-backed formula of specific fruits and vegetables that you're not going to find in any other product. Proper metabolism reboots our nutrition so that we burn calories faster, the healthier way. And Field of Greens is the only brand that's backed by a better health promise. You're going to look healthier, you're going to feel healthier, but the greater proof is going to come at your next checkup when your doctor looks at you and he says, wow, you look fabulous. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. So let's get you started. Why don't you go on over to fieldofgreens.com. Enter in code Robert when you purchase your Field of Greens, your real organic superfood, or any of the other amazing products there at fieldofgreens.com and save 15% off by using code Robert. And don't forget to use that code to make sure that you save. Fieldofgreens.com, code Robert. All right. And so let's go back over to the Twitter files. Now that we know that basically every single person on here was sort of selected for whatever reason by Mark Lindsey, and many of those people have no real connections or alliance with Russia at all, let's carry on. Taibbi says, a government official writing from a State Department email asks to, quote, delete 14 accounts that are engaged in legit speech for which no evidence is shown that they're Russian-controlled bots or anything. Yeah, a clear First Amendment violation issue. That's the government acting as a state actor, putting their disgusting boot on the necks of private citizens. Taibbi says, I noted before that there were many crazy requests in the Twitter records from officials wanting foes taken off Twitter, with Californian Adam Pencilneck Schiff and his effort to ban a reporter and to stop any and all search results about a staffer making Angus King's spreadsheet gambit look tame. This email came out Thursday, November 12, 2020, right after the election. It says, hi, so-and-so. I met with blank from PP and he flagged the attached analysis from the House Permanent Select Intelligence Committee. Schiff's office for your review related to harassment from QAnon conspirators against this staffer. Here are our thoughts. Will you please remove any of all of this stuff? Remove any and all content about Mr. Misko, including any quote retweets and other content, right? Suspend accounts of Greg Rubini and Paul Sperry. He says they're QAnon conspirators, right? This is from Adam Schiff's office. Suppress any and all search results. And they say, no, we don't do that. No, we don't do this. No, we don't actually do that either. And label and reduce visibility. We don't do that either. All of this coming from Pencilneck's Intelligence Select Committee. Insane that they would be censoring people that openly. Look at this email. We don't like Greg Rubini. We don't like Paul Sperry. Please nuke their accounts. And then when they didn't, the government got very upset about it. Taibbi says, the fact that mainstream news outlets ignored the Schiff story but howled about Trump and Teigen shows exactly what they're about. Responses like this are designed to keep blue-leaning audiences especially focused on moronic partisan spats, obscuring the bigger picture narratives. The real story, says Matt, emerging about the Twitter files is about the ballooning federal censorship bureaucracy that's not aimed at either the left or the right per se, but at the whole population of outsiders who are being systematically defined as threats. Yeah, the liberals are going to be in for a rude awakening when they realize that they are not in the in crowd anymore, right? Eventually, at some point, the state is going to need to stop all of the warring to protect the state, and so the utility of the black versus white versus brown versus Asian, all of the things, it's all going to not be useful, because then everybody's going to be demanding for an overthrow of the society, and the people in charge don't want that to happen. So it's going to be then about consolidating that power, and all of the people who thought that, you know, this woke intersectionality was going to be the saving grace are going to be in for a rude awakening when that all changes, and they're asked to realign with statism. So in March, says Matt, we're going to start using the Twitter files to tell this larger story about how Americans turn their counterterrorism machinery against themselves. Yeah, we've got homegrown violent domestic terror extremism, all the different DVEs, HGVEs, and so on, to disastrous effect through the little-known agencies like the Global Engagement Center, which was another entity that Elon referenced. Until then, if you found yourself on that King list, please DM me or write in Racket News. He says, I'm on vacation next week. Enjoy yourself, Matt. Take the week off. But we'll mock up Angus King's told Twitter I was suspicious shirts when I get back. Thanks to contributors like Schellenberger and Fang, of course. That is Matt Taibbi. Twitter files 16. And he said, if you need to contact him, that is the email, racketnews@protonmail.com. And so we'll, of course, continue to cover the Twitter files. We're still waiting for the Fauci files. We're looking for more. Of course, we'll continue to cover. Thank you for subscribing and liking this video wherever it is you're watching it. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.